You're listening to the Chad Hasty Show here on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO. Chad is out today, and I'm your host, Cole Shooter. Now, we've got the second Trump-Kim summit that's going on right now. It's being hosted by Vietnam, the second summit between Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. What they're moving for is denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula and ending sanctions possibly against Pyongyang. Those are the main items on the table. We're going to go ahead and go to the phones, and we have Amy Kremer, who's president and co-founder of Women for Trump. Amy, how are you today?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great, and thank you for joining us here. So,
Thanks for having me.
What do you anticipate seeing with this second Trump-Kim summit? The fact that we've even got the summit, I think, is kind of a testament to Trump's diplomacy skills and the fact that he tends to mean more of what he says than previous administrations, particularly the Obama administration.
Right. And I think what's happening here is, a lot of this stuff with foreign relations plays out behind the scenes. There's in past administrations, things have gone on and it's behind the scenes. We're not privy to the information to see it in the public. What is different with this administration is, as we know, President Trump is very transparent and likes for things to be played out in the public. And we're seeing this happen now with North Korea. So the fact that we're here to the second summit is historic. I don't think that we're going to walk away with where they agree to completely denuclearize. But I do think it's baby steps, and it's about building relationships. And I think that is what President Trump is trying to do.
I agree. I think that this is going to have to be a process in moving forward. And everybody knows that at this point. We're not going to walk away, like you said, with everything that we want, because that's almost like a Christmas list when it comes down to it. We're sitting here going, we want this, we want this. And when it comes down to diplomacy, not everybody gets what they want, and definitely not right away. So how much do you see North Korea actually being willing to move toward denuclearization?
Well, as I've heard some talk about it, we're going to have to see where Chairman Kim thinks that it's better for his country to have the nukes and have that, in their pocket, or do they want prosperity and, a good economy? What is more valuable to him? What does he think will benefit that country more? And I think that is part of the process that's going to have to play out. We know that their economy is not good. He wants these sanctions lifted more than anything, but the president is not going to do that, until they denuclearize. And so it's part of that process. Again, it's about building relationships. I don't want to continue to go back to that, but it's about building up that trust and in those little baby steps of give and take.
It is, and I'm interested to get your take on the thought. There's a couple of things. Whether or not he's doing this out of complete, immediate economic necessity, because we know economically they're not good. So do you think he is responding to this more as a good leader, or because they have absolutely no way out other than to move towards what the United States wants?
I personally think that probably it's because of the need. That what are their other options? They don't really have any other options. And I think that we know that. I don't know if you agree with me on that, but I do think that they don't have any other options. And the president is aware of that, and so we're using that to our advantage.
I agree, and I think that's the sort of thing that we need to use, because I think they're flat broke. And I think that China, I feel like North Korea has always been the angry, barky, bitey chihuahua of China in the first place, where when you go over to somebody's house, they're a little embarrassed about how this dog is acting, but they're still going to take care of it. I feel like it's the same sort of thing with China and North Korea. They've always been kind of China's insane arm. And because they've been so bad, they are in a completely bad way to where they can't even support their elite class. And I think that's all North Korea cares about is the elites. They don't care about the normal people.
No, they don't. But I also think that, that things are so bad there that he certainly doesn't. Obviously, he likes to be in power. He, likes this rock star treatment. Now he's on the world stage. And, last time when he landed in Singapore, he visited casinos, taking selfies. So he loves that. And the last thing he wants is an uprising of his people. But they're desperate in hard times. And so I think he needs to take care of his people. And if he takes care of his people, I think there's more likelihood that he will remain in power. And at the end of the day, it's about self-preservation. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I think you're 100% right. Because the thing is, if he gets deposed, I don't think he's getting out of there alive. And he's Western educated to an extent. And so he knows what the outside world has to offer.
You're right. I forgot about that. You're absolutely right. He is Western educated, and he absolutely does know. Honestly, it is about self-preservation for him. It really is.
And the thing is, I think that part of me tended to wonder, and I think this is incorrect, I think that he wants to be more well-liked than his dad on the world stage. But at the same time, I just have in the back of my mind, they're broke, people are starving, there's going to be an uprising, and he's going to get killed if they don't fix something. And so what I want to see is, if they're not willing to go all the way, but they're willing to make a few concessions, what concessions do you see the United States making towards North Korea?
Well, and that's what I don't know. It's not so simple. It's not just about the United States and North Korea.
It's everyone else
players
as well.
Involved. I mean, it's very complicated. So when you see these pundits and commentators get on TV and talk about, the president hasn't been successful. I mean, the headlines in the papers yesterday were negative, as he is leaving for Vietnam. I mean, of course, the press doesn't give this president any credit for anything he does, but the negative headlines and they expect if he doesn't walk away with North Korea saying we're going to completely break down everything and denuclearize, then it's a failure, and that's not right. And it's not simple where it's just between these two leaders. Yes, they're the two that are meeting and negotiating, but at the end of the day, there are other factors and other players involved, and it is complicated. There's no foreign policy that is pretty simple.
No, not at all.
It's very complicated, and so we're going to have to see what the president is willing to do and what Kim Jong-un is willing to do, quite frankly. Like I said, the president said over the weekend, or maybe it was Monday, I can't remember, but he said, no testing. It's been over a year now, I think, where there's been no launches and no testing. And I would say that that's a success and something that, up until this past year we didn't have. So I hope we continue down this road. I trust the president. I like what he's doing where it is public and transparent. And I hope that he is successful in this, because I think if he is successful, not only is it a success for the Trump administration, but I would say for the world.
I would agree. And I think some of this is North Korea and Kim Jong-un trying to save face. Because as we discussed earlier, a large chunk of the world knows they're broke. They've got these model cities with nobody living in them. Only the elites have the money. But at the same time, if he wants to maintain power, not only does he have to keep his folks from uprising, but he's also got to come in and show that he's not just completely rolling over and showing his belly, since they've been billing the United States as the great Satan since his grandfather first came into power. And so watching to see what he's going to do, I feel like most of the conflicts on what's going to wind up happening are all in North Korea's court as to what they're going to allow. I feel like the U.S. is a little easier to handicap, and all of the other ones who are taking care of it, because we'll just respond in kind and see exactly where they're willing to go. But ultimately, I think we have more leverage.
Right. I mean, they're obviously the ones that are backed into a corner. We don't even have to be there. We have these sanctions on them. Their economy, they can't feed their people. They're the one hurting. They're backed into a corner. They're the one that they are the ones that are going to have to give. And how do we respond? That's the question. And what are they willing to give? What are they willing to do? And then when they make their commitment, do they follow through on it? That's the next.
That's going to be the biggest question. Amy, thank you so much for coming on with us. We really do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I hope you have a great day.
I hope you have a great day, too, and we appreciate your insight. I look forward to hearing from you in the future.
Thank you.
You're listening to the Chad Hasty Show here on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO.